They'll start a series against the Baltimore Orioles tonight. Sugar Shane McClanahan is on the field. All right, let's talk. We go from Sugar Shane McClanahan, Rasmussen, Nick Martinez, Brian Baker to one of the all-time great relievers, the fiery two-time Tampa Bay Ray, Oakland A's. I like to still say Oakland A's. I know they're Sacramento and will be Vegas A's. He has the consecutive save record at 44. We're talking now he's doing a great job TV work with your Tampa Bay Rays. The one, the only Grant Balfour joins us on the Central Florida Behavioral Health Network DAE hotline. Learn more at cfbhn.org. How you doing today, Grant?
I'm doing well, Rock. Good to hear from you.
Back at you. I loved it when you were here as a player, and I'm loving your work now with the Rays on TV. Are you enjoying that, Grant?
I am. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. I feel like in a ways I'm giving back to the Rays for the opportunities that they gave me. Being able to have the position I have there and MLB and the opportunities that they've given me to go down there and show up the Trop every day now and be around the team it's awesome.
Now I noticed when you're at the Trop, and I went over and bothered you the other day, and you're doing your preparation, and a lot of fans don't see that. Okay, he's just on TV. He's talking about the team. Anything, especially when you played, you got to be prepared. You got to do your training. You got to get your work in. You do have to do your preparation, do you not, Grant, for TV?
You do. You do. I'm sitting at the desk here now, just getting it started for tonight's show, actually. So you caught me right at the right time there. It is. It's like you said. As a player, you're doing that preparation. You're looking at back in the day. I call them the heat maps, where you see the guys hitting 300 in this location. All right, I'm gonna make it pretty simple here and try to put it in this spot right here, but I want to pitch to my strengths at the same time. Same thing goes here. Yeah, going through some of the numbers and just looking at some of the sites here and doing all that prep work. So yeah, it's enjoyable.
What do you make of the way the Rays are winning? You got Junior Caminero and Yandy and Aranda. A couple of other guys maybe can take you deep, but it's the pitching, it's the defense, and it's moving the runners over, whether it's bunts, they steal, they play small ball. What do you make of it, Grant?
Yeah, I mean, I look at the pitching, right? And we look at the starting pitching, and you go down through the numbers there, and they're elite numbers, right? I mean, this starting rotation has been lights out for me. We have had a couple injuries there, but we've had guys like Jesse Schultz to fill in spots, and really just shows the depth of the pitching right there. The bullpen, I know we talked about it early on in the week, but man, they have been lights out. They've come out there. They've started. I talked about it earlier. Once they start to see those roles, people starting to pitch in more roles and defined roles, and they sort of know when to expect to be ready for that to be in the game. They can start to look forward as to, okay, I've got these three hitters coming up. You can start to visualize things. I remember I used to do that late in the games. I could see, okay, 6 outs away, these are the guys I'm going to face. And if things change, a guy gets on, I can start to visualize facing this guy now. And I think it definitely does help. And I'm seeing more of that now. People getting comfortable. They talk about the camaraderie within this clubhouse, which is huge. Teams can go out and win, but when you want to go deep into the playoffs and potentially win the whole thing, I think that is a big part of it. And like you said, they're just a dynamic team that has some power. We have speed, versatility, guys just filling in different roles and doing it really well. And, it's been a really exciting team to watch.
What does it do to a pitcher when you're facing a lineup like the Rays, and it's not only Simpson, and it's Williamson, and it's even DeLuca and Guy Walls that are going to possibly steal? You know what I mean? What does that do? What does that do to a pitcher, and especially a guy like Chandler Simpson?
Yeah, now I call these guys kind of scrappy players. A guy that can really cover the plate, a guy that doesn't strike out much, guys that go up to the plate. They're not going to chase out of the zone, so they're going to make you throw the ball over the plate. And all they do is put the ball in play, and they're getting on base. And when they get on base, they wreak havoc with their speed, and that is a nightmare for a pitcher. You might have been pitching out of the set, out of the windup. Now
Hmm.
you're out of the set. Just a lot of you know, like I said, it's a nightmare for pitchers on the mound, to be honest. When guys are out there using their speed, you sometimes get into a mode where you start to rush your pitches, you start to overthink things, and the frustrations kick in. I think the speed of the game starts to, pick up on you a little bit, and then you start to see some of those errors, and you got guys behind them that maybe don't have the speed that the guys in front, but you make a mistake over the plate, a guy like Caminero or Yandy Diaz, and then going to turn around and take you deep, and you're giving up multiple runs in an inning.
Interesting. This is the great Grant Balfour joining us on the Central Florida Behavioral Health Network, DAE hotline. Learn more at cfbhn.org. So, what's his name? That was a reliever, and now they're making him into a starter. The
Griffin Jax?
Griffin Jacks. There you go. So for some reason, I started
Yep.
thinking of Gavin Lux. I'm like, no, 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 that's the second baseman. No, 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 no. Griffin Jacks.
No,
Griffin
no.
Jacks. What
Yeah.
what is that like now? He's starting to get more comfortable with that. You know what I mean? It really is a
Yeah.
different mindset. You would know. What is the
Mhm.
difference in the mindset being a closer, being a reliever, and boom, being a starter? It is different, isn't it, Grant?
It definitely is. Different routines. I mean, he's now got 4 days obviously to prep, throw bullpens, work on some stuff on the side. Maybe some things that maybe weren't as such working for him. Gives him a little bit of the ability to now throw his sides, work on those types of things, work with the pitching coach, nail down all those types of things with mechanics, and then go out there with a plan and execute. And I think this is a guy that has multiple pitches, and I've heard this before that he goes out there with multiple pitches, and he pretty much doesn't get a chance to use all that arsenal as a reliever. He maybe just throwing a couple pitches, and maybe that one pitch wasn't really as sharp or as good as he wanted it. But he's found a way, and he's found his stuff, and he's looking really good of late. We saw a 5 scoreless from him last time out, which was great, and he's obviously built up now to where I believe you could probably get him into a game going 6 innings.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Now, a little bit on you before, because very, very interesting. Here you are in Australia. You come over to
Hmm.
this country and boom, you make it to the show. And not only make it to the show, I mean, so successful. It really is an unbelievable story. When you were in Australia, when did you know? When did you honestly think, like, you know what, man, I think I can pitch in the major leagues? Like, was that something that you always thought about as a kid, or was it when you got a little bit older, Grant? How was that?
Well, I'm going to throw a wrinkle in this because I was a catcher growing up my whole time.
Oh my
So
God.
I actually caught for, the state, New South Wales, Australian teams, and traveled around internationally and whatnot. And I got to the age of 18s. I remember my second year in the under 18s tournament for my state. And they said, you made the team, but they said, you made the team as a pitcher this year, not the catcher.
Ah,
I said, okay. So I went back to club ball and I started pitching and prepared myself for the national tournament. Went up there, had a good tournament, and went back and finished out the season in Australia in the local season there. And yeah, I had teams from America start scouting me during those games, and that's when I got some offers to sign as a pitcher. So
and I'm assuming when you're playing over in Australia, the competition isn't the same as it is in the States. Am I correct? And was there ever any doubt that, like, okay, I'm doing really well over here, I can do it in the pros?
I mean, yeah, it's the level that I was pitching at was, sort of like a rookie ball level, right?
Okay.
So at the time, yeah, it's I see other guys signing. I see, hey, that's a goal of mine. That's what I want to do. I've dreamt of being in the big leagues. So basically, sign, take a chance on yourself, right? And go over there. And I started out in 1997 with the Minnesota Twins, and I just brought everything that I could, brought my A game. I might not have had the best stuff at the time, but I said if I can work hard at this, work hard at my craft, and work hard on and off the field, I'll eventually hopefully get there.
That's awesome. And it really, because you know what, Grant? It seems like whether I'm covering the NFL, Major League Baseball, the Lightning, NHL, like everybody is the best of the best. Everybody is very, very talented. You are the best. But what sets that aside? It's the mental state. You were always, man, when they bring you in, it's like, look out. I would like to get out of your way, man. You were fiery. How much of the mental state and your thinking, man, that came into it to make you what you were?
Yeah, my dedication to the game, to the sport, um, I felt like was second to none. I would do whatever it took to get to where I needed to get to. The sacrifices, the determination, the courage, all that. I got those words tattooed on my body because that's what I live and died by. And I like I said, I told myself, there's a lot of guys here I didn't sign for a lot of money. There's a lot of guys here, first rounders, second rounders. I just didn't care. I told myself that I was going to work as hard as I possibly can, and at the end of the day, if they see equal talent, I want them to choose me, the guy that they can see that wants it so bad. So that was my
Awesome.
driving force the whole
Awesome.
way through the minor leagues.
Awesome. The great Grant Balfour. All right, so you working tonight at Tropicana Field on TV with this Rays and Orioles game?
Yeah, I'll be down there for the pre and post game tonight. So looking forward to the Baltimore Orioles coming into town, and yeah, hopefully the Rays can go out and take care of them.
Grant, you're the best. I really thank you, man, for just giving us a little bit of time. You're doing great on TV. Always a pleasure. Love covering you. Really appreciate it, Grant.
Yeah, thanks very much, Rock. You're great.
You got it. You got it. What a good guy. He used to come in when I was on TV and doing the TV show, and he would come in and we would talk. And I remember there was one time we were in Fenway Park, and it was the ALCS, and it was right before the game was starting, and they were kicking us off. I was doing a live shot, and it was like, no, no, no. And I saw Grant, and I was still live, and he's like, all right. And he did something for me real quick. And it was right before a big game. And I was just always appreciate it. So he's doing a great job on TV. But how about that message? No matter what it is, you got to outwork the other person. Nobody can, if you say, I am going to outwork everybody, man, that's how you're successful. All right, we'll continue. We'll open up these phone lines, 888-388-0957. Tropicana Field's taking a lot of heat again. And one of these new surveys, top 5 worst stadiums. Rays are just doing it their way. We'll continue on the Flamethrower, 95.7 WDAE.